Welcome to my technology assessment plan. You know, every time I'm asked to give a presentation and introduce myself at the beginning, I can't help these days but show a picture of my adorable son. So there he is, James Anthony. That's in his shark outfit before Halloween, and on the right here is a picture of him at a track meet this spring. So obviously I am a track coach, but I'm also the economics, marketing, accounting, and computer apps teacher at Grand Rapids Christian High School. This is actually only my second year teaching. Before teaching I was working in the financial industry, but my wife got a job as a youth pastor. I found out I much preferred working with youth, and so here I am. Before I really dive into my technology assessment plan, I want to first address what I learned in this class, and then hopefully tie that into some of these parts of my plan. And the first idea is this assessment for learning. You know, assessment doesn't just have to test whether a kid has learned something, but it can also be a tool for them to learn something. I was reminded of this recently when I gave a quiz and a number of students struggled on it. But they learned from their mistakes, and when they were later assessed on the same topics, they performed much better. And we need to keep that in the back of our minds, that assessment is a great way for us to help students to learn, and that students do learn best often from their mistakes. The other main idea that I really took from this class was assistive technology and the importance of it. The article review that I did talked about how, you know, assistive technology doesn't just help students access content, but it also correlated with students' well-being. And it's not just students with learning disabilities that benefit from it, but it's really all students. So I put a logo there for Camtasia. Obviously I'm recording using Camtasia this presentation right now. And when I do that for my class, it allows all the students to come back and review what they missed. So if a student was sick, or if a student was just tired one day because they had play practice till 10 o'clock the night before, they can come back and they can re-watch and relearn a concept if they missed that. I also like to make my notes available. So, you know, we did a lecture on personal finance, and if I make that PowerPoint, those notes available, a student can come back and kind of refresh, oh yeah, that's what that was about, and those were some of those key ideas that I missed. So it doesn't just help a student who might have trouble note-taking, but it really helps all the students. I teach at Grand Rapids Christian High School, so I thought I should put a picture of our high school, or at least what our high school is going to look like in the near future. We're in the process of a major renovation, and so if I'm going to talk about a technology assessment plan, I better talk about the technology that I'll have available in my classroom next year. So this is what our new classrooms are going to look like. And of course there was a big push to have a lot of tech tools available to us, and one of the main things is we're going to have multiple projectors in every room. And what I really like about that is that it removes the front of the room concept. No longer if a student has poor eyesight, or if a student is sitting in the back of the room, are they going to miss out on something because they can't see. You know, everybody is going to be able to see what's on the screen. The other thing is with those projectors and with our one-to-one program, students are going to be able to display what they've been working on right from where they're working. A student will be able to plug in, and the teacher will be able to display that student's screen right on all the projectors for everyone to see. The one-to-one program also, of course, gives every student a whole bunch of tools, internet tools, Web 2.0 tools, etc. available to them. But the main one that we've been pushing for is the use of Moodle. Every class is expected now to have a class Moodle page, and so a lot of my technology assessment plan revolves around Moodle and what we can do on Moodle. Some of the features that I really like about Moodle is that right at the top left, students have immediate access to assignments. I like to put all their assignment information out there, the instructions. They also turn it in on Moodle. They have chats where they can get homework help from their peers and also from me. There are forums where we can discuss current issues in economics. journals if I want a private reflection, and quizzes. I do some summative quizzes and tests, but largely I use that for review quizzes, and then a whole slew of other resources, whether that's class notes or videos or podcasts or other websites. Whatever we use in class, I can make available on our class Moodle page. One such example of a resource that I put on Moodle are these Google Forms. This one is an example of I gave a survey asking students if they would be willing to mow my lawn for free for $10, $20, $30, $40, or $50. Once they've filled out that survey, that populates a spreadsheet which the students can then access again through a link on our Moodle page, and it allows them to then tally up how many people would be willing to do it for free, how many would be willing to do it for 10, for 20, 30, 40, 50, etc. And then they can, right within Google Docs there, they can create a graph to kind of show how many people are willing to do it. And what they've done, essentially, is they have discovered on their own an economics principle, that the supply curve is going to be upward sloping, that at low prices, not many people are willing to supply a good or service, and at high prices, a lot of people are willing to supply. So technology enabled me to demonstrate a principle of economics rather than just tell the students, rather than just give them notes. They were actually able to create their own data. The other tool that I really like within Moodle that I talked about earlier was those quizzes. And I really like the adaptive quiz feature, because that allows a student to get immediate feedback on how they're doing. So this is an example of a problem that I put on a review quiz, and I could put, at this point, this quiz has 15 questions, although I could put 40, 50, 60, and hopefully at some point I will put a whole bunch more problems for them. And the student can take as many problems or as few problems as they need to. They can do it on their own time, and they can, after each question, they can submit it and get immediate feedback whether they got it correct or not. In addition to that, I can also have some pre-programmed response if they got an incorrect answer, some sort of hint to try to direct them to the right answer so that they can correct their understanding. But not only is this useful for the student, it's also useful for me as the instructor. I can go back and see, man, a lot of students were struggling with this problem. Maybe I need to reteach something. Maybe there's some misunderstandings that need to be addressed. Some additional tools that I like to use that I mentioned earlier: the journals for those private reflections, discussion forums, and chat rooms, a fairly new one to me, where students can ask me for questions, ask me their questions for their homework or for review for a test, and then other students can go and look back and see what we discussed. Another one that I put out there, Socrative, that I've used a few times. We don't have clickers, but we do all have laptops. So if we use a tool like Socrative, all the students then can immediately give me feedback if I ask them a question. So we get that interaction. And lastly, I had to mention podcast, video, Prezi, all the multimedia tools available for students to present their research projects. We kind of do a Freakonomics based research project in our class, where students create their own data, and then they have to create a paper, but they also create a multimedia presentation to illustrate that they've learned some important economics concepts. So where does this lead? For me, the future is probably continuing to build my class Moodle page, adding more tools, more instructional videos, more sample problems on those adaptive quizzes, more different types of assessments for learning, and really trying to take advantage of all the assistive technology tools that are available online and through our district, so that not just the students with learning disabilities, but all my students can succeed in my class. So I thank you for your time, and now I'd like to open it up for any questions.